All right, so I'm recording my trade idea for today. Let's check what we've got on the monthly. My aim is to keep this 10 minutes or less. So on the monthly time frame, I have my monthly buy side here. I have my sell side here. I've got a fair value gap, a monthly fair value gap here. I don't really expect price to push into this unless we hit equilibrium on this, which we just did. So it's possible, but highly unlikely. But if price starts to push down rapidly, then we know that that's a possibility that we should be looking at happening. Let's drop down to the weekly. Okay, the weekly looks a little messy, but let's just outline some of the things that I've been looking at. I have a weekly fair value gap here, as well as the monthly fair value gap here. We've seen price push up here, push up, come down, push up again, come down here, and then we see it come up here. So it took out buy side liquidity here. Let me delete this because I don't need this anymore. We've already taken out this liquidity. I'm trying to keep my charts as clean as possible. This we have a volume imbalance on top here, which could be something that price might try and go for. So that's something to be wary of. I have my weekly buy side here. I'm just extending it so that I can see it on all time frames. So we see price come down here, price push back up. So we are obviously in a bullish trend right now. Price comes down, it hits this order block right here. Price comes down, it hits the order block right here, and then we begin to push up. And pushing up, we see we have a weekly fair value gap around here. And what did I say? I said since it wicked through and nearly closed above, I expect price to dip slightly and continue to the upside. So what happened was after I said this, I think the very next day, the very next week, we had a doji week. So that in my opinion could be the slight dip before the next push up. All right. So I'm generally very bullish actually. I'm generally just bullish on this. So I then the next liquidity I'm looking at is the weekly buy side liquidity. That's the next thing I'm looking to get and taken out, and then I'll be looking for price to hit the volume imbalance. And interestingly enough, the consequent encroachment of the volume imbalance also is the yeah about the same thing. Is the weekly buy side liquidity on one of the candles here. Yes, so I'm looking at price generally driving through this all the way up here. But when it takes out sell side liquidity here, I would expect when it takes out buy side liquidity is here, I would expect price to, you know, work around a bit and then continue. Sort of like what happened when it took out buy side liquidity here. It was gonna drop, but it didn't just drop immediately. After taking it out here, we have doji, 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 then a drop. So that's 3 weeks of I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet, and then it dropped. That's just something to be mindful of. Yes. So I have this fair value gap here. I'm still bullish on it. Let's come down to the daily to understand what my daily bias is. So on the daily, I think I need to clear some of my charts to the left. But on my daily, what I'm looking at here is so I have my PDRA here. Give me a second. So I have this moving from somewhere down here all the way to somewhere up here. All right. So looking at my 50% level, I'm also in a discount on the daily. I'm in a daily discount. All right. We've already not right now, but we already entered daily discount, which could signal as a continued push to the upside. All right. So that's what I'm looking at here. That's my narrative for the story. All right. Sorry about that. I had to do some stuff. So we are, like I was saying, we're in a deep discount now, and from the discount we moved up. So I'm expecting it to go back to take out the buy side liquidity here, since I'm generally on a higher time frame looking at this volume imbalance. Like wink, wink. I'm just looking at the volume imbalance right there. So I have three things I'm looking at here. Oh, one, two, three, four, five. Five things, four things actually that I'm looking at right now. Currently, price pushed up rapidly, and then we form a daily fair value gap here. I expected price to dip into that fair value gap to to then take off from there, right? Reason being that we have the market structure shift happening right here. There's a market structure shift. It happens here, and then now we are in a bullish uh, algorithm. So buy model actually. So right from here, now I begin to look for which other fair value gaps were left here. We don't have anything here. We don't have anything here. Neither do we have anything here. In fact, we have a little tiny fair value gap here, but then I don't really look at it because I feel like it was liquidated. It was mitigated. Right. Then we cross over here again, and then crossing here, because this will be my bullish order block. Crossing this level, or let's say here, we have this fair value gap left here. So now I'm looking at how price is going to act from there. I was looking at how price is going to act from there because I was expecting price to just take off. So you see from here, I had a trade here. Price took off, right, from the dip in the fair value gap. But then price drew back into that fair value gap again. It drew back into that fair value gap again. And then now we are looking at price possibly taking off again. Okay. So like I said, I have my fair value gap here. I'm looking at price taking off. So I'm generally bullish. I come down to my 4 hour, and I've got price moving around a bit. We see this huge gap that was left here that needed to be liquidated. It was begging, it was crying to be liquidated. Right. So we see price come up here, it pushes up. I wasn't even sure it was gonna fail, but then it pushes up, comes down to fill it, and then now I'm looking at price going back up here. My On the 4 hour, my final uh run will be to this H4 buy side liquidity, which is I think also with the daily. Yeah, so it's also the daily buy side liquidity. I'm seeing an H4 buy side liquidity that should not be there, obviously. So this should be deleted. Yes, and replaced with this, because I'll consider this, yeah, I'll consider this an H4 buy side than a daily buy side. I don't feel like it has gone down enough to be. Well, it actually can be a daily buy side actually. So let's call it our daily buy side liquidity, daily BSL. So now we're looking at price just going up into going up into this. I expect price to have a bit of resistance in different areas, mainly for our fair value gaps actually, which are quite important. So we have one here, we have one there. Let's drop down to the 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, we have this huge CB that has been left here. Sell side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, huh? Or not something along those lines. But we have this huge CB left here. Sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. So we price would need to reprice here to keep going up. Uh, we need to reprice and then start going up. From I like how price reacted off this level. If you look at the 1 hour, it looks like price took out something. And when you look here, I didn't even see this when I was entering the trade, but This looks nice, but I actually didn't see that when I was entering the trade. That's not what I was looking at. But it looks like price has came to, we had an equal low here. What's the low here? 08875, and we have a low here 08875. So you see, it looks like prices took this out and then began to push up again impulsively at the right time at 5 a.m. Right? So dropping down to the 15 was where I actually took my entry. Right? What I saw is we have this Asian range here. London sort of was consolidating, so I sort of expected like a good run in New York. I expected a bit of a good run in New York, and then we come here. I have, let me just annotate my charts a bit. So I've got my Judah swing right here. I've got my Judah swing right here. I like what happened here because it took out here, took out there, and then price started to push up, right? So then my break of structure in this order flow will be here. So I have it here. This is my break of structure because price came up here, it came down, pushed up, pushed down. So this is my break of structure. I see price break my structure and create this fair value gap here. So then I begin to look at the fair value gap. Well, I don't even look at the fair value gap. I set my limit order. I just set my limit order right there, waiting to see if price is going to take it. Price took it, price pushed down, and now price begins to push up again. In terms of where I'm looking at putting my stop, pushing my stops and everything, I've already put most of it in there. But then I'll be looking to go in to break even. I don't like what is going on here. I didn't check the markets today. My God, that is bad. But I need to. Wow, wow. Let's see. What news do we have this week? There's not a lot of news today, but some news came out this an hour ago. Wow, we had some news come out an hour ago. I don't even know if I have Euro news coming out. It might be news in Euro. There might be some news in Euro. Yeah, but then all right. So we see this. What I do like on the 15 minutes is how price has seemingly respected this this here, but it didn't really respect it. It's more or less dropped into this fair value gap, which is not far-fetched actually. It just tapped into it and then moved and then kept moving and then bounced back up. I i put my stop loss here because if you look at this side, we have a lot. This is very efficient, and even when I drop down to my 5 minutes, you can see price was just moving like efficiently. Price was just moving like efficiently all throughout from this area. He just kept moving efficiently. There are no gaps left in here. Even the gap that was left in here was filled, and it just kept going up. So I strongly believe that this, like, my stop loss here should be all right. It should just be fine. It should be fine. It should be good enough. It should be good enough to survive. Price might dip here. There's another order block here. Order block here. I'm expecting all of these to be respected, and then price should keep going up. If price comes down here, I know it's probably gonna cook me. It's gonna be nice, but yeah, it happens. Where will I be looking to pushing my stop to 50%? My first SL ideally should be somewhere here. Should be somewhere here. At this point, I'd like to push my stop to 50%, somewhere right about here. The moment price hits that level, I want my stop to move to 50%. At which point would I want to put that break even? Move stops 50%. At which one would I want it to move to break even? I'm looking somewhere here. In fact, even here. Yeah, by this point, my stop should be at the break even. Yeah. Yep. So that's what I'm looking at for today. That's about it. That's my tape reading for today. That's just me reading the tape. Looking at how price is going here. I'm hoping price is gonna respect. It might drop. Price could drop down to this fair value gap just to milk it out and then begin to push forward. All possibilities. Just relax. Go through it. I have my alerts and I will be monitoring. All right.